Okay, welcome, Mansi.
Hi everybody.
All right, well, I'd love to start with you, Mansi. AI-driven threats are evolving fast. How is the cybersecurity landscape keeping up? And what role is AI playing in making these threats more challenging?
Yeah, thank you and good morning, good afternoon to everybody. So I'll start with, saying that AI is the new electricity. Just as electricity transformed every major industry, AI will transform cybersecurity by powering more robust defense systems, but also bringing in, vulnerabilities to exploit. Having said that, and you rightly said that, AI is really growing where threats are concerned. We see automating attacks, right? AI allowing attackers to automate the scale of their operations, really working on lightning speed to find vulnerabilities and attacking it. Second is, I'm sure everybody is aware of deepfakes and misinformation. Now, deepfakes is something here to stay, and it is so much, we are seeing real-time attacks being used by deepfakes on CEOs, on, big giants, and they're losing a lot of money. We are also seeing advanced evasion techniques, like, AI can enable malware to learn from a behavior of cyber systems, adapting the changing, this approach to evade detection by antivirus softwares. They can even get into your antivirus and this entire organizations can come down, right? So these are what we are seeing. But yes, at the same time, you need guns to fight guns. So, cybersecurity companies are also getting up. So there is a threat detection and response, which is now AI driven. There is a term called predictive security, where there are AI models where they can predict behaviors, right? That doesn't look like the right behavior and stop attacks. Of course, there are now automated incident responses, which are there, which are, like if you talk about 10 years back and now, 80% of the attacks are, really stopped by automated incident response. And analysts just look at the 20%, right? So I would say, and the last, I would say there is a lot of improvement on user authentication, which is really helping us to, fight this AI war against cybercrime. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And Edward, hello.
Hello.
With AI complicating the threat landscape, Edward, what levers can we use to address the cybersecurity threats and risks to AI?
Good afternoon, everyone. So from the UK government perspective, we believe that there is a need to take an approach for security that covers the AI lifecycle. So a lot of the work that we've been doing, we've commissioned various research, not only in mapping the standards and recommendations in this space, but also the risk landscape as well. And we essentially believe that there's a need for globally agreed, internationally supported security requirements that set the baseline level that is required across AI technologies. So we recently held a global consultation, and I'm delighted to say that about a third of the responses came from about 20 countries outside of the UK. And the main proposal that we set out was the need for a code of practice that could then be used to help create an international standard in ETSI, one of the European standards organizations. We fundamentally are working with 10, 15 other countries because we think one of the most effective levers here is if we can build good and internationally supported security requirements, it provides industry with greater clarity. Equally, what I've seen from the conference here is from engaging with a number of VCs, they've come to us and said, look, we are really interested in investing in so many companies here, but we need to understand what security and privacy processes and practices they're taking in place so that we can actually then inform our investment processes. So it's really a selfish pitch to say that we think that, through your support and involvement, there's a huge amount of opportunity here to be able to build some baseline and internationally supported security requirements.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Mansi, as AI systems become targets, how can organizations protect them from cyber attacks? Your audio, sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So I agree that, this is a problem which large, small, every enterprise is facing, that how to tackle AI. At one time, we want to really promote AI use in the organization, but at the same time, what are the controls and checks and balances which we need to come in place so that, we are protected. So I would say we need to have a holistic approach, as Edward also said, that, that we need people, process, and technology all come together to fight this. One is, of course, you should have a policy around AI. How to, like in our organization, what we have done is we have created an ethical body of AI. So it is not only that you need to protect from cyber attacks, but also you need to protect the privacy of individuals, right? You need to protect the data. So one is that have that committee who looks into any new projects that are coming in AI. Second is, of course, that, try to, data is what we need to protect. So try to implement encryption and authentication mechanisms. So this is the technology I'm talking about. So I think our previous speaker spoke about zero trust. So that is the new, that is the buzzword for 2024 this year. And I would say that is what we really need to look at. Wherever we are, designing this entire life cycle of AI, please see that, zero trust is implemented. Don't trust, always verify. That is the, the idea behind it. Next, I would say we need to have very robust, but breaches can happen, right? So we need to have a very robust incident response plan. That, if it happens, how we are going to react? Do we have incident response teams in place? And last but not the least, I would say the people is the key here. So awareness of people is the key. Please explain to them, what is their expectation of the model, how they should protect the data of the individuals as well as the organization. And also as the, they should not be biased regarding, putting in any data in. So really training our, users on being AI, custodian of AI ethical use is something which I have implemented, trying to implement in my organization. I hope, everybody does that.
Thank you, absolutely. And you've touched on some very important points, of course. AI is exciting, but it's not, of course, without limitations. And so, Edward, what advice or takeaways can you offer to the audience to help them to improve their approach or enhance their approach to AI security?
I think I'm probably preaching to the crowd here, but just based on what I've seen from our engagements during the consultation process, one thing that we saw from the insurance and the legal community was through their engagements with clients, a number of organizations have not realized that through their different uses of AI and through the creation of models, their clients have not realized that they are essentially taking on additional roles in the AI supply chain. So in our proposed code of practice, we talk about system operators, developers, and data custodians. And what we've seen from that feedback was that a lot of organizations, when they're thinking about how they are going to adopt AI into their infrastructure, it's really important in that early stage process that they're thinking about what is our role and how are we going to be involved in the data that is put into the system and what steps are we taking, because the insurance and legal feedback was very clear. They are essentially having to advise their clients and say, look, you've actually now taken on a role linked to, for example, data protection law, and that obviously changes things dramatically. So I think that's the first point, would be think about when thinking about implementing AI into the infrastructure, clearly understand what are the purposes for that role, what is the role the organization is essentially taking. The second one is around essentially the life cycle approach. In the UK government, we're taking a very unique approach because we are essentially thinking about from the design and development phase all the way down to the end of life cycle. And from our engagement in this conference and recently, we've seen that security is not necessarily a very appealing word in the context of AI, because there is so much good that it can be done. And so I feel like I'm the Grinch here in continuously saying, security is the essential thing here, because from our perspective, security is the essential precondition for any AI system. And all the different things that we're hearing about, safety, ethics, bias, are all extremely important. But if you don't get the security of the system right, it's really essential. So that, I think, is a second crucial point for us. And then the third is essentially a pitch to you all and say, from a UK government perspective, we are still in the early stages of creating our work. If there's anyone here who wants to be involved in helping us to shape not only the international requirements, but also our wider work, because we are in the early stages of exploring what other interventions should be taken forward, working very closely with our US Gov and Dutch government colleagues as well, this is a really big opportunity for you. So if there's anyone who wants to speak with me afterwards, we're very keen to hear from you.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Mansi, your final thoughts.
Yeah, so I would just say, being a cybersecurity custodian, that difficult times are coming ahead. We are seeing very, very sophisticated attacks where AI is concerned. So I think awareness, common sense, and as I think Edward said, security by design is something which will help us really, pave this way forward. So that is my last takeaway to everybody, that, just be very aware and things will fall into place. And last but not the least, this is for the organization level, but on the personal level as well. We should try to educate as many people as we can on deep fakes, on, whatever new things are coming up, because we are the custodian, we know all these things, and especially our children, who are the next generation, we should really try to protect them because they are just living on the digital age. So I would urge everybody here that, please, at least once a year, have that awareness session with maybe your, children's friends or whoever you can. Thank you.
That's very, very important points, both at an organization and at an individual level. Privacy by design, security by design, AI ethics and governance by design. Thank you both for your incredible insights. It's clear that while AI offers powerful tools, it also presents us with some unique challenges to tackle. I think that we all have a lot to reflect on after the discussions today. So, in just a few minutes, I'm delighted to introduce Chris Wysopal, Chief Security Evangelist, Veracode, and he will be sharing his insights around paying down security debt in the era of generative AI. So, in a few minutes, you will hear from Chris. Thank you again, Edward and Mansi.
Thank you so much.